What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are lapping valves, installing new valve springs, and getting the heads on the engine so we can put this thing in a C10. Let's do it. All right, I'm gonna show you how to remove the valve springs with this eBay valve spring compressor tool. It's designed for LS engines. Put your spacer on. Sure, the piece, you gotta put this together, but pretty easy to figure out. Supplied hardware comes with the tool. So this valve spring compressor also comes with the tool where you can do this with the head on the engine. Got the adapter to go into your spark plug hole, and you apply compressed air to hold your valves up. This method I'm using, we just gotta use a rubber mallet to get the valves to do what we want. So I'm gonna snug these down here. Not much. I don't want anything else. Just snug them down. 13 millimeter. Run this one down to start compressing your valves. Or your springs, rather. So at this point, you're just pushing your valves down. You see right here, we got a gap in these on both of those and no gap here. So that compressor is just pushing our valves down. This one I'm gonna take the rubber mallet. There we go. Unseated. A little more. I like to use a magnet here. Take your little retainers. Sometimes you gotta work them a little. I have to compress it a little more. There we go, that one come right out. There's that one. Now you just back it off. At this point, you would just repeat the process, put it back together with your new springs. Springs on, clips on, run it down, good to go. All right, so it's time to start putting the head back together. I got everything good and clean. I'm gonna lap the valves, install new valve seals, and install the new valve springs. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do that now. So let's get started. So when you're lapping valves, the main thing you want is a good finish on this valve edge and obviously on your head. So what I like to do is do these one at a time. So I'm going to do my intake valve and exhaust valve for one cylinder. After I get them both lapped, I'm going to go ahead and assemble that cylinder, meaning valve, spring, retainer, all of it together. That way I don't get these valves mixed up. I want to keep this valve in this hole. So what I like to do is use a drill. Put this drill on the back side here. And I'll just work it. I'll pull the trigger, obviously, and I'll just move it in and out and try to get it cleaned up. I'll go in reverse some. As you can see, this valve cleaned up nicely. We'll make sure there's no pits or anything in that valve. This one looks good. You want to be sure and not get any of this lapping compound inside on your valve guides. If you do that, you're in a bind. So you want to inspect this portion right here where the valve rides. Obviously you can see, you'll know where the spot was. That one is good to go. I'm gonna go ahead and do the exhaust valve. So the exhaust valves take a little more work. Again, be careful with this. Do not want to get it on your guide. I'm pull this one out and check it. Looks like there's a few little pits in it. It's nothing major. I'm gonna run it one more time. Check it again. Wipe it good and clean. I'm gonna say that one's pretty good. So, I'm gonna take some carbon choke cleaner. Get all that lapping compound off of the valve. I'm also gonna spray some of this cleaner on my rag. Clean both of those out. Hey girl, I'm making a video. So we're gonna take compressed air and blow these out good. Be sure and blow your valve guides out good. So we're gonna take our new valve seals. They're both the same. Intake and exhaust, nothing different. They make a special tool for this, but honestly I think it's a waste of money because this is very simple to do. Put it on there, just socket, fits over it good. Rubber mallet, valve seal installed. To the other one. Good to go. Now you want to unslide your valves in. Again, we already cleaned these. Put the valves in. If you're installing a aftermarket camshaft, you want to be sure and go with the recommended valves. I mean, the springs, duh. So, springs, retainers. This is the same tool I showed you before on removing these. So, works the same way. I hear that dirt bike. These kids having fun around here. Alright. Want to make sure everything's centered up good here. Just barely snug these. And we'll start compressing these springs. Take it on down far enough to where you don't have to fight your clips. So, probably not easy to see on camera. Your clips put on. Good. Some of these you got to fight sometimes. I can tell that one's either got to be twisted or tightened up a little bit. Was able to twist it. All right. You don't always have to hold them, but sometimes you got to kind of hold them in place. You just start backing out here. Don't let it paint you. Might not ever get your finger out of there. So repeat that on the rest of these, and you have an assembled head. Next step, after we get it all assembled, bolt it to the block. All right, so before we put our head on, we've got to install our lifters into our trays and put them in the block. So I've had these soaking in oil for several days now, so they are ready to go. And the lifters only fit into this tray one way. So there's no messing that up. So although I did soak these in oil, I am going to put some assembly lube on the rollers. It's going to be right on the cam. Take these trays and push them all the way in. Make sure it goes in there all the way. Repeat that for the other one. Torque these bolts to 10 foot-pounds. So now that our lifters are in, this excess oil that we just dripped on here, we want to wipe off. Also, I've already cleaned all these mating surfaces. So I'm going to use a little bit of carbon choke cleaner and just wipe it clean. Everything clean. All right, so we got the head sitting in position. Now we're going to take all of our head bolts. All right, so we have 8 long ones, which go, all of these go on the bottom, and in the center up here, our 2 short ones will go on the end in the center. And these small ones go at the top of the head. So we'll start putting these in the position and just getting them finger tight. I'm gonna go ahead and put the 2 medium or short length ones in. Well, I know they're in the right location. I'm gonna put all the long bolts in now. All right, so on these longer bolts, they go all on the bottom, and these 3 in the center. This one here are shorter. All of these are the small bolts. So on the torque sequence here, you don't want to mess this up. So what I've done is saved it on my phone. So right here, you go to Summit, wherever, find the torque sequence. It tells you what sequence to put them in and the specs. So be sure and do that. I'm not going to tighten any of these with this impact. Just going to run them in close and go in the sequence that Summit recommends. Going to 22 foot-pound. All right, all those are at 22 foot-pounds. As these directions say, we're gonna make, that was the first pass, torque them 22 foot-pounds. On the second pass, we're gonna take them 90 degrees. So, in that same order. So, at 90 degrees. So, those went to 90 degrees. Next round says final pass, another 90 degrees. So see if I can do that. All of the big bolts are torqued. Small bolts up top. Gonna go to these. We're gonna take all the way to 22 foot-pounds. First pass. This middle one. All right, I'm about done. I can't stop. I'm about done with what I'm doing. I can't stop because it's got Loctite on it, but I'm literally almost done, okay? Will you go inside and get, you gonna take Mama's car? It's got enough gas in it? What are you gonna take? Red truck? Will you go inside and get the key for it and get my wallet? There you have it. All right, so as you can see, we got the heads on. we're getting ready to put all the rocker arms on. So I got number 1 piston at top dead center. The way to confirm this is top dead center on the compression stroke. Both of your push rods will be down, meaning they're on the base circle of the camshaft. If one of these push rods is up and one's down, you know you're not where you need to be. Both of these need to be down. Be number 1 piston, top dead center on the compression stroke. So, got that set up. I'm gonna run all of my rocker arms in just by hand. I have done the upgraded trunnion kit on here. That is something I strongly recommend. I didn't do a video on that, but there are some online. You can go check them out. So I'm gonna put all these in along with all the push rods with assembly lube on each push rod, on each end. And I'll show you the next steps after I get them all in place. I'll put some assembly lube on the end of each of these. All right, so I got my sequence here of what we're going to tighten. Like I said, we got number 1 up. So we're going to tighten the exhaust valve rocker bolts for 1, 2, 7, and 8 to 22 foot-pounds. So cylinder number 1, exhaust valve. Line it up with the exhaust. Already got it set to 22, so there we go. All right, cylinder number 1. Cylinder number 2. So 1, 2, exhaust valve. There we go, 22 foot-pounds. Cylinder number 7 and 8. So 7 and 8 exhaust valves. There we go. Exhaust. There we go. Tighten the intake valve rocker arms on 1, 3, 4, and 5. There we go. Rotate the crankshaft 360 degrees. Hey, I'm going to put me a mark on it. Rotate it 360 degrees. Make you a mark before you do it. See I'm working? There we go. Rotate it 360 degrees. Now we're going to tighten the following. So tighten the exhaust valves on 3, 4, 5, and 6. There we go. Intake valves for 2, 6, 7, and 8. So all right, so my phone cut off on me due to iPhone problems, storage, you know how it is. So anyways, I got it complete. I got the rockers adjusted. Everything's ready to go. It is ready to be put in the truck. Got a cruise coming on the 24th, so I'm trying to keep the truck together for that. But as soon as that's over with, the next video, y'all gonna see me yanking the inline six out and setting this bad boy in, and I'm gonna take you along for every step of it. So y'all be sure and come back and check it out. See ya.